Hi, good afternoon. This is Chapter 18 in Navigating Early by Clare Vanderpool. Here we go. This was our chance to retrieve the Maine and make a clean break from Mick Scott and his band of not-so-merry men. Early and I made our way down the hill from the Bare Knuckle Inn to the river, where the Maine was still tethered to the pirate ship, or rather, the logger's boat. But as we slipped and slid down the wooded slope, dodging branches and twigs, we came to a sudden halt, partly because we reached the bottom with a thump, but mostly because of what we saw. Even with all the fire and noise and hubbub, Long John Silver staggered his way ahead of us, down to the dock, and clambered aboard the logging boat. What he was doing I couldn't say, but it involved a lot of banging, clanging, pitching, hurling, and cussing. And even if we had dared to sneak down to that dock to untie the boat, it was too late, as the barge suddenly came to life with a cough and a sputter and slowly puttered away from the dock. There was nothing for it but to watch as the boat chugged off with the Maine in tow. It was a pathetic sight, the legendary rowing boat of Morton Hill Academy's fallen hero being led upstream into the wilderness like some great king being held captive and taken away in bondage. It was painful to watch, but we did, Early and I. We watched like some kind of honor guard, waiting until the Maine rounded a bend and drifted out of sight. Now what do we do? I said, not really expecting Early to have an answer. Let's go, Jackie. We have to walk now. Part of me wanted to argue, to say, we can't just head off in the dark. But I could already hear how that conversation would play out. Yes, we can. No, we can't. Yes, we can. And as always, Early would have the last word. Still, I opened my mouth to argue. The words never came out. Instead, up the hill at the Bare Knuckle Inn, we heard the unmistakable sound of a lever-action rifle being readied for firing. Let's go, I said, and we headed into the darkness. We'd lost some of the supplies that we'd left on the Maine, but Early and I each had our packs on our backs, which meant that we still had the essentials: the map, matches, our blankets, a flashlight, tobacco, extra socks, and lots of jelly beans. So in the orange glow of the burning mountain, we walked. It wasn't so bad traveling at night. The air was still, there was a 3/4 moon, and so far we had encountered no bugs, sharks, pirates, or volcanoes. What more could a couple of travelers ask for? Then I heard a twig snap. I stopped and held my breath, straining to hear what manner of creature might go bump or snap or hiss or growl, for that matter, in the night. But the lions and tigers and bears remained silent. Oh my. That could be worse. They could be lying in wait. My mind was playing all kinds of tricks on me when Early broke the loud silence. Jackie, did you know the Appalachian Trail? Yes, I answered, hoping to avoid the list of facts that was sure to be coming my way. I do happen to know that the Appalachian Trail is the nation's longest man-made trail, stretching through 14 states from Maine to Georgia, I said, quoting a nature journal I'd read in the school library. It's roughly 2,178 miles long, and very few people have hiked the trail all the way through. I paused, pleased with my knowledge, and waited for Early's reaction. Unfortunately, it was a little too dark to see his face, but I imagined him looking a little deflated that I had stolen his thunder. See, I said, even a kid from Kansas knows a thing or two about the Appalachian Trail. So you already know about the hiker who got stuck in a bog and had to be pulled out by a couple of horses? And that the horses got spooked and nearly tore him into two? Now I was the one who was deflated. His trail knowledge was much more colorful than my own. And, he continued, did you know that a logger went missing on the trail for a few years ago? No, I didn't know that. I racked my brain for some equally interesting and disturbing tidbit about the trail, or Maine, or Kansas, or anything, but only stumbled on a tree root. What happened to him? The logger, I mean. They don't know, but if he wasn't killed by some wild animal or crushed by a falling tree or drowned in the river, well, then he's probably lost his mind in the woods. People do that, go crazy when they're lost. They call it going mad, only it doesn't mean mad like you're angry, but mad like cuckoo. Early drew circles around one ear to emphasize his meaning. You can also say nuts or cracked or bonkers or bananas. Batty is my favorite. That's British for crazy. Which would you rather be, Jackie? Angry mad or crazy mad? I think I'd rather be crazy mad because you can be crazy and still happy. Mozart may have been a little crazy, but his music, great, I thought as I stopped listening to Early. Not only did we have to worry about bugs, sharks, pirates, and volcanoes, not to mention a ferocious bear that slashed people's eyeballs out, but apparently there was also the possibility of a crazed logger on the loose, or the possibility of us stumbling over a slashed, mauled, half-eaten logger's body. Either way, this trip was filled with the strange and dangerous. We walked in silence, but I couldn't shake the feeling that we were being watched. Somehow I suspected that we had not seen the last of McScott. After some time, when we could no longer see the fire and smelled only a hint of smoke, we figured we were far enough from the Bare Knuckle Inn and the volcanic mountain that we could take a rest. We stretched out under our blankets, using our backpacks as pillows, and I could soon tell from the heavy breathing and slight snoring that Early had fallen fast asleep. I was tired too, exhausted in fact, but for me, sleep did not come so fast. I lay awake, pondering how I'd gotten there. How did a normal kid from Kansas end up in the middle of the woods with a strange kid like Early? I looked up at the stars and found myself asking the same question Pi asked when he headed out on his journey. Why? Why did everything get turned upside down? Why did my mom have to die? Why am I following Early with his endless stories of Pi on a crazy bear hunt? With these questions swirling in my head, I wished Early was awake to tell me one of his stories. But Early still breathed the breath of deep sleep. Maybe I could try remembering something pleasant on my own. My mom was a great one for working up a raucous tale on a cool October evening just like this one. I closed my eyes tight and imagined myself when I was younger, snuggled up next to her on the porch swing while she sipped hot tea from her white teacup with the little red flowers, or more recently, just sitting beside her, holding a skein of yarn while she rolled it into a ball. I tried to hear her voice, but she remained silent. My eyelids grew heavy. Just as the questions started to swirl around in my head in a dreamy way, Early, not as asleep as I'd thought, said, "The numbers are running out." That is it for Chapter 18. I'll be back momentarily with Chapter 19 for you. Stay tuned.